everybody, I'm Joey.
And I'm Alex.
And now we're starting a new series called Versus.
Yes.
Because so many times everyone says this game is like this game, or this game is like this game.
Correct. You hear it a lot around, I feel like around Gen Con time. Like, oh, this game's coming out, oh, it's like blah, 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 you know? So we're gonna, put those games that you hear about head to head and see how they come out.
Which is always good because on one side, it's like, if you like this game, well, you probably should like this game.
Yes.
But sometimes it hinders you because you may not like one aspect of this game, but you may end up loving this game.
Correct, yes.
So although 90% of the things are similar, that 10% you don't like is no longer in that new game. So we're going to take some games and go head to head and see which one we prefer. Now again, we're going to break it down. That way you guys know what the differences are and what we think, because you might not agree with where we end up on it. Because you might hear something that we like that you don't. Yeah. Which is the beauty of games. Yes. There's so many things. So, and it's really a personal choice.
Correct, yes.
So right now, we're gonna do the big guys. We grabbed these two because these are two of the heaviest roll and writes out right now. Yeah. And they are
Hadrian's Wall
versus Twilight Inscription.
Whoa, who's gonna win?
So these right here, again, we're not going to go to gameplay, but we picked these because these are two of the longest roll and writes.
They are. They're both, Hadrian's Wall is like, what, 3 to 4 hours?
No. It's like 1 to 2. No. Hadrian's Wall is like 60 minutes.
Oh, I thought it was 1 to 4 hours.
It says 30 to 60 minutes on that.
Okay.
1 to 4 hours?
Yeah, where did I get the hours from? Well, I don't know.
She plays it really slow.
I do indeed, I do. Because the one thing I was going to say is that I was always told it was such a long game, and I was like, it actually plays pretty quick, so.
That's the thing. Before we played this, we were scared of the fact that this is a long game. Yes. It's a long game. It's a long game. The teach is long, but.
Oh, correct. I think the teach is just as long as the game, but it's necessary.
Yeah, so, all right, so they say it's about 30 to 60 minutes. This is about 90 to 120. But weight-wise is what we're going at. Both of these are over 3. Yes. They're about 3.2 to 3.3 as far as the weight on BGG. So both these are heavy roll and writes. Correct. Which is interesting because when this started, roll and writes were out because they were so fun and accessible.
Fun and fluffy, Yeah.
Easy to do.
Yes.
These broke that mold.
Oh my goodness, didn't they?
Which, honestly, we played TI, Twilight Inscription, before we played Hadrian's Wall.
We did indeed.
And that kind of showed us, you know what, we can do, because I thought heavy roll and writes, I don't want that.
Can I say, so we bought Twilight Inscription at Gen Con, and I was the one who had to convince you to go in and be in that first 50 people to get it at Gen Con. Yeah. I took a lot of convincing. I was like, it's going to be fine. I love roll and write. Let's just do it, Yeah. So, it did take a lot of convincing.
Actually, I sent a friend to go sign
We did. Oh, I wasn't going to say all that. Yeah. Twice, actually.
I did. Yes. I did. Yeah. So, anyway. So yeah, that's okay. So what are these about? Okay. Twilight Inscription, of course, is based on Twilight Imperium, and it's got 4 boards in front of you, and it's got navigation, expansion, industry, and warfare. So you're using 4 boards at a time.
Correct, you are.
And Hadrian's Wall, you have 2 sheets.
You do indeed. You have your wall.
You've got your wall, which is the whole thing is you're building among 6 years. You're a general building Hadrian's Wall
for the Emperor.
Right.
Of Rome.
So all right. So now we're gonna break it down into several things. First of all, components. Okay.
Well, I feel like roll and write, there's not a lot of components to talk about. There's more in Hadrian's Wall than there is Twilight Inscription. Hadrian's Wall has the little people that you can do. Ours were actually upgraded with stickers, which made it fancy. Yeah. But in Twilight Inscription, your components are actual boards, right? Right. Why in Hadrian's Wall, you've just got the paper, which either, if you play this game a lot, you're either going to have to buy a refill or start laminating your paper.
See, and it's funny how you see that at Hadrian's Wall, and component-wise, I like the Twilight Inscription because the boards don't feel like, they feel like game boards.
Oh, they are the same as like you would expect on like a Zombicide game board kind of thing. They're solid boards.
And then the pins it comes with aren't the typical, which I did not like at first. They are the typical black pins. They're like a neon because the whole board is black.
Yes, well, it's in space.
It's in space.
Yeah,
right.
Makes sense.
Right. So anyway, I haven't been to space, so
really?
I don't know. Yeah, not lately.
They can't hear you scream.
They can't. Okay. So anyway, so they have the neon pins, which it's honestly, people are like, oh, how are we going to replace them? I looked up. You can find them.
Yeah.
So, but I do like that. It's really interesting, and it's kind of, it's fun having those 4 different quadrants you can work on. Here, the 2 sheets work together.
They do indeed,
and
yes.
Here they do to a certain level.
Yes.
But then you kind of choose one at first to work on for that round.
Yes.
So yeah. All right. So as far as components, who do you give a nod to?
Oh, I would say Hadrian's Wall for components. I love it.
Really? I would say Twilight Inscription.
Okay.
Because I think the components on this are neon pins. You got me.
Yeah, that was the winner right there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So all right, mechanisms.
Okay. So I feel like both of them. I like the dice rolling in Twilight Inscription.
Yep.
I was supposed to say Twilight Imperium. That's why I had to pause. Twilight Inscription. I was like, hang on. I like the dice rolling here. I like here how you have your cards that tell you your workers that you're placing out and everything like that. And I like how before you get all your little people and you have them up the top there and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this here and I'm going to do this here and then I'm going to do this here. And you kind of, well, at least I did anyway. I physically moved my little people to where they needed to go so I could do stuff.
Right.
The thing that got me with Hadrian's Wall is that the further, and particularly some of the later rounds too, I would have so many cascading things. I would have people that I was not expecting to get. And so then at the end of the round, I had leftover people that I couldn't carry over to the next round, which frustrated me so much. Several times I had things left over. I was like, I don't know what to do with it. Does anyone else want it? Because it's useless, So that was one of those things that got me there a little bit more.
I agree, and that's one thing that Hadrian's Wall does so well. Everyone loves cascading. Ever since
cascading.
That's so clever, it's so clever, all that stuff.
Yeah.
The cascading, and it does it so well.
Amazing.
Because
it's amazing.
You try to plan out your cascade, and for you that don't know the cascade I'm talking about, like if you mark off this, then you get a reward that allows you to mark off over here, then you get a reward, you can mark off here. And you always try to map those cascades in your mind, and normally you can do it.
Yeah.
But Hadrian's Wall, sometimes it'll go so many cascades that you never got this far because you never thought you'd get this far.
Yes.
So you get this worker you didn't have a plan on having, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. And it's just so much cascading going back and forth that it's incredible.
Yes.
It gives you that kind of that high of feeling, oh, I'm doing it. You feel so clever. And then when you walk away from the game, you keep thinking about it.
Yes.
Because every time we play this with people, we'll go to it in a little bit, but it's afterwards you're like, I want to run it back. I want to do it again because you're like, I can do that cascade better if I would have kept this open. So now T.I. has a couple things I did not know I would like in Roll and Writes. The diplomacy and the warfare. Oh,
yes. I was going to just say about Twilight Inscription, those are incredible.
They are.
Incredible.
I did not, and that's the reason I bought this. It wasn't because I thought I'd like it.
It's because I convinced you.
That too. It was because I didn't know if they could pull it off.
Yes.
And they did.
Yeah.
Diplomacy and warfare, it really works with TI. It's just, it's fun, it's interactive, so I like that. But mechanism-wise, I would have to give the nod to Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah, I feel like Hadrian's Wall mechanism-wise frustrates me a little bit, so I prefer Twilight Inscription for the mechanisms more.
Really?
I really, everything is just so smooth there.
Wow.
I really, really liked that. I just felt like my turn, at the beginning of my turn, I would plan out which board I'm going to use, and off I would go, and off I would do it.
We've had 0 crossovers.
I know.
We have 2 choices every time, and we've had 0 crossovers.
Boom, boom. Yes.
Yeah, we're married. Opposites attract. Okay, so, all right. So now let's go to theme.
Okay.
Theme, of course, is very simple. Won't go into much. This is the Roman type thing, and this is space. And really, theme is why a lot of people buy board games. And for me, I would go Twilight Inscription.
Okay. Me being the history nerd that I am, I'm going to go Hadrian's Wall with you because I love history. Yeah, so there you go.
Okay. All right.
3 so far.
I need a new gaming group. Just so everybody knows. All right. So there we go. Theme. So really, theme is, you know what they are. All right. Now, replayability.
Yes.
This, it shouldn't be as big of a problem as it is. I hear people say, oh, how much can you replay it? It's like you want to ask, how much are you going to replay it?
Right.
I mean, the games that we love the most, how often do those hit the table? Not a lot. But replayability is a factor in whether or not you want to buy this or whether or not you want to use someone else's copy.
Yes.
So with Hadrian's Wall, Like I said, it's one that after our friends have played it, they're like, you know what, I want to do it again.
They even took their sheets home with them so that they could study to see what they were going to do better.
Because they're looking at it, they're like, I can make that engine better.
Yeah.
Because it's engine building with the cascading, and you're like, I can really do it. Now,
I was going to say, when I was playing Hadrian's Wall, I focused on the wall side of that sheet, and I avoided the theater, the baths, and the precincts area completely. They weren't even touched, right?
Yeah.
My wall was completely built, right? But nothing else. And I go back to saying next time, that's what I want to focus on. You know, that's what I want to go back and redo again.
And there's so much going on in Hadrian's Wall for replayability. First time we played it, I didn't really get the gladiators.
No, everyone just avoided them.
We all just agreed, we're like, we'll just avoid the gladiators, right?
Yes.
And everybody's like, yeah, we'll just avoid the gladiators because it's a small part.
And then last round, someone did the gladiators.
Someone did the gladiators.
Like,
everybody's like,
what's happening
we
here?
agreed we weren't going to talk about the gladiators.
Yeah.
And they did it. So there's a lot going on there, which adds to replayability.
Yes.
However, with TI, there's a lot of player interaction and a lot of things like that. So the replayability here can depend on your gaming group.
Correct.
So if you have a lot of different people you play with, this replayability is high because you get those big groups and you'll be sitting next to somebody else. If you sit next to someone that ignores warfare, you know, well, you know what, I don't have to do much to beat him every round.
You're going to be okay.
Yeah. But if you have somebody that's sitting next to, and that's fun, it's like, man, I know he's aggressive.
Yes.
So it's like, so I'm like, I have changed my seats sometimes because I'm like, dude, I can't sit next to Ryan. Because all he does is just build weapons.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So it's like, it's really, the replayability is high because you can just switch seats. And that itself is great. So, all right.
Yeah. I was going to say the player interaction in Twilight Inscription is so, is really great. Like I said, the warfare, the diplomacy, that's fantastic replayability right there. And that great player interaction that you hear on a lot of roll and writes, there's no player interaction. Twilight Inscription has it, you know?
Does, in droves. Which is what's another thing that sets it apart.
Correct.
From not just Hadrian's, than other ones. So, all right, replayability, who's your winner?
Twilight Inscription.
What? Twilight Inscription.
Hey, look at us.
Yeah,
We got there.
Only because you can actually play with other people, and that changes the game a lot. All right, so next, the ease of hitting the table.
Yeah.
How often are these as heavy, over 3 weight roll and writes going to hit the table?
So I was going to say, I love about Twilight Inscription, right, how the first round you can play like a tutorial, like it explains every section, right? I love that. Hadrian's Wall, to learn this game, you all have to study the rulebook or watch a video or whatever. You all have to spend time, maybe a couple hours, learning the rules before you play it. It's something that you don't do it at the same time. You've all got to kind of focus on it and do it. So in terms of hitting the table, this one, Hadrian's Wall takes a little bit more work to get it kind of up and going. Like when we did this, we actually all put on our calendars that we're going to play this game, and we watch videos, read the rule books, all that stuff. So we all knew, so it took some prep work to actually go play a game, which I was okay with. But Twilight Inscription, all you have to do is play that first round, like the player aid, and you're fine, off you go. You know?
That's true. That's one of those things that I wish we could break it down into ease of hitting the table for new people. It's going to be TI.
Yes.
Because TI's got that thing where they walk you through.
Yeah.
I'm not intimidated if there's new people there. I'm like, you know what? We're going to go through it.
Yeah.
And they'll look at these 4 sheets and they'll be like, oh, there's so much.
Yeah.
But then 4 rounds into it, it has kind of guided them through what to do.
Correct.
And then you just let them loose.
Yeah. And then off they go. And everyone that we've played it with, after playing that beginner scenario, whatever it's called, the introduction stuff, I was like, okay, I've got this, off we go. Right. Everyone has felt like that.
Everyone has. And now this one, like she said, it's one of those that when you look at what's going on and you try to explain it, I mean, you just see this look on their face
what?
like, I have no idea.
Yes.
Now, it makes sense. When you start doing it,
correct.
Halfway through the game, you're like, oh, this is clicking. And then usually at the end, you're like, okay, this is great.
Yeah.
Which is why these people want to run it back and do it again. Because it does take about a game. I wish there was another, I guess like a false round that they can design that you can kind of learn this.
Yeah.
Because, ignore gladiators, by the way. But, so no, there's this right here that you could do it. So that right there, the learning curve. So this one, I'm trying to go overall ease of hitting the table. When, like I said, new people here, people that have played before, it's almost a point to where I want to play this with people that have played before. I don't want to teach this game.
Correct.
I think people will like it.
Yes.
But watch a video.
Yes.
It's going to take 30, 40 minutes for you to watch a video.
Yeah, watch the video on your own time, and then we'll play this game together.
But then you've got to look at the fact that once you know the gameplay on this, 30 to 60 minutes, I think closer to 60. I can't imagine on 30, maybe solo.
Yeah.
But this is 90 to 120, and you need a larger group with this. You don't need a larger group, but it's more fun to a larger group.
Right. We played it with different play accounts too. It is really fun when you have 8 people all sitting around the table with their full boards and everything, and you have to pull out the table extensions just to kind of fit everybody on. That is really, really fun.
And then you see the one person sit next to somebody like, I told you not to sit by him. It's like, he's brutal, right? So it's like, So it's good. But ease of hitting the table, which one?
I would say Twilight Inscription.
I'd say Hadrian's Wall.
Okay.
Only because I'm looking at players that have played it before. But honestly, it's a wash on this one. Because if you have new people, and if you have a party or an event, then this is not a party game.
I was like, a party?
Don't be doing that. Next Thanksgiving.
Day. Yes,
Grandma, have you tried this one?
You're going to love it.
Put Rook down.
Yes.
No, okay, so I guess this is a wash, but if I had to lean, I'd go Hadrian's Wall.
Okay.
All right, now we're also doing one in every verse is we're doing X Factor.
Yeah.
Because every genre has something that sets it apart or something you can focus on. These, we chose the X Factor of play interaction because a lot of people like this and roll and writes don't typically have it. And this one there's very little in Hadrian's Wall and it's pretty heavy in Twilight Inscription. So it's not much else to say about it as far as that goes.
Yeah, I was going to say my X factor is I think Twilight Inscription looks better on the table than Hadrian's Wall. Hadrian's Wall can look a little dull, right?
Yeah, it does.
But then the theme-wise, my X factor for Hadrian's Wall is I love the theme.
Right.
That history of me, I love that. I think it's very thematic and everything like that. So
your X factor goes to?
My X factor would probably, in the end, go to Twilight Inscription, though.
Yeah, for mine, it would be TI2, just because that play interaction sets it apart. All right, so now, all things being equal, and here's the crazy thing about the verses. I mean, we thought about not even giving a winner.
No.
Because it's so hard to say. It's like, we love both of our children. Yeah. So, but it's just, but you have to choose one. And even if one could like just take it, every single element, components, whatever, you could still choose the other one because you just have that feeling for that game.
Yeah.
So, all right, so overall, which one would you choose?
This is really hard, by the way, because I'm going to Twilight Inscription.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Can I tell you, I've actually changed my mind several times. Because at first I was like, I'm going to go Hadrian Wall, then I'm like, no. But I've said like the last couple of hours, I'd be like, no, it's Twilight Inscription. So it wins.
Wow.
What are you?
I would go Hadrian's Wall.
Yes, I know. Oh, this is a really hard.
It's very hard.
This is really hard, but I think in the end, Twilight Inscription is going to win.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with either one of these games.
No.
And now you know what the differences are between them.
Yeah.
And you can kind of, hopefully this will help you help guide you to whichever one you want to. But if you land on either area, both these are in our collection.
Yes.
And they're both going to stay.
Oh, correct. Yes, they're both not going anywhere.
And they're both going to
be played on the same night. I'm just kidding.
Brutal. So no, my brain would just melt. Yeah. So, but honestly,
lots of coffee.
So both these will stay, and they're both fantastic games. So anyway, comment on there. We might be wrong.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think between these two, or any other verses you'd like to see us go head to head.
We would like to see it. Yeah.
So we're gonna enjoy the series and getting everything head to head. Boom.
Boom.
That's like more of a handshake.
This is going to be fun. I'm excited. We know kind of what's coming up next in the verses. This is going to be a fun series for us to do. So we're excited.
So, okay, hey, thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.